In my last post, I showed how your money grows from saving versus investing. I included a projection of investing with an 8% return, and some of you reached out asking, what is this investment product that gives an 8% return? Well, let me clarify. I'm not selling any investment products. My videos are all about creating knowledge and awareness so that you can invest your money on your own in the stock market and potentially achieve an average return of 8%. Now, before I dive deeper into this, I want to make it very clear, this is not a recommendation to buy any particular stock. This is for educational purposes only. So please do your own research and due diligence before investing, as investing does come with risk. So that being said, let me get into it. So let me explain about the 8% return. So how did I come up with this 8% return on investment? Well, it comes from something called the S&P 500. What is S&P 500? It's essentially a basket of 500 largest companies in the US. Companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, Nvidia, and so on. I'm pretty sure most of you know most of these companies. So when people say investing comes with risk, they are right. Because if you invest in a single company, there's always the possibility that the company could underperform or even go bust, meaning you could lose your money. But with the S&P 500, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Instead, you're investing in 500 at once. So if one company doesn't do well, others may compensate. It's like spreading your risk all around. And if any of these 500 companies don't perform well, the company is kicked out and the next best company is added in. So essentially, you have the best performing 500 companies in this one basket. So why the S&P 500 is a good starting point? By investing in the S&P 500, you're essentially investing in the entire US economy, as it consists of the top 500 companies, as I mentioned. If you look at the historical numbers, the S&P 500 has delivered an average return of about 8 to 10% per year over the long term. That's the key, long term. The stock market has its ups and downs. For example, in this chart of S&P 500 over the past years, you can see the war periods, dot-com bubble, COVID. If you see in the short term, it has its lows. But in the long run, it's on the uptrend. Always zoom out to see the bigger picture. Like taking a step back to see the whole picture and not getting intimidated by the current situation. Some years, the return will be higher than 8%, just like this year. As of now, S&P 500's return is at over 20% just this year alone. And there are years where it will be much lower. If you average out all the highs and lows, you get about 8 to 10% range. And that's why it's so important to think long term. Don't let short-term dips scare you. So how is the 8% return calculated? It's simply the average of the performance of all 500 companies in the S&P 500. Some of those companies will have great years and others won't. But by holding shares in all of them, you're spreading your risk and capturing the overall growth of the market. That's the beauty of diversification. And that's why investing something like in the S&P 500 can be less stressful than trying to pick individual stocks. So how can you get started? Here's the best part. You don't need a huge amount of money to get started. You can start with small amount. There's something called fractional shares, where you can invest a small sum of money and buy just a fraction of the share of the S&P 500. All you have to do is to be consistent and keep investing on a monthly basis. This allows you to build your investment over time. And as you keep adding small amounts, those investments will add up, and that 8 to 10% growth works for you year after year. It's like putting your money to work while you sleep, while you work, and while you are enjoying life. I can totally understand that investing can feel intimidating at first. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be a financial expert, and you don't need to start with a ton of money. The S&P 500 is a great gateway into the world of investing. It is safe, diversified, and it has historically been strong. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking, I don't know where to start, you can start here. Start small, start today, and trust me, your future self will thank you. I wish someone directed me when I was much younger, and that is the very reason I'm sharing this today, hoping it will help someone's journey into investing. If you found this helpful, go ahead and give this video a like and share it with someone who you think this content will be useful for, and thank you for watching.